I leaned back in my chair, the city lights spilling through the glass wall of my office. My phone buzzed. "Hey, Ethan." Lena's voice came soft, practiced. "Just landed. The meeting's early tomorrow." "Which city this time?" I asked, half smiling at the laptop screen. "Chicago," she said quickly. "You know the tech summit thing?" "Right," I murmured. "You sound tired." "I am," she laughed, light but distant. "Don't wait up, okay?" I hung up and stared at the empty call screen longer than I should have. The room felt too still. The clock ticked, loud enough to sound like judgment. Mark walked in without knocking. "Still working, man. It's almost 10. "Numbers don't balance themselves," I said. He grinned. "Or maybe you're avoiding that empty house." I forced a laugh. "She's just busy. You know how she is." "Yeah," he said slowly. "But business trips every 2 weeks? That's dedicated." I didn't answer. Instead, I clicked through invoices, checking sales reports I'd seen a dozen times. Mark dropped a file on the desk and said, "Go home, Ethan. You look like a ghost wearing a suit." Driving home, I told myself he was wrong. Lena's job demanded travel. She loved what she did. She had goals, ambition. That's what I admired most. Still, when I stepped inside, the faint scent of an unfamiliar perfume greeted me. Not hers. Something sweeter, sharper. I muttered to myself, she must have changed brands. But the thought didn't stick. I poured a drink, scrolled through my phone. Her last message blinked on the screen. "Miss you already," I typed back. "Me too," then deleted it before sending. The next morning, I found her red scarf on the counter. A hotel receipt peeked out beneath it. I picked it up, expecting the usual chain logo, but the name printed there wasn't one I knew. Different city, different hotel. I folded it neatly and placed it in the drawer beside our wedding photo. That evening, Ava called. "Hey, big brother, you sound off." "Just tired," I said. "You sure? You only sound like this when something's wrong or when you've been thinking too much." I smiled faintly. "Maybe both." "You and Lena okay?" she asked, careful. "Yeah," I lied. "Everything's fine." After the call, I sat in silence. The fridge hummed. The house felt like a museum, full of memories but empty of life. 2 days later, Lena FaceTimed me, her hair perfect, smile flawless. Behind her, a beige hotel curtain. "Hey, handsome," she said. "Hey, how's Chicago?" "Cold," she chuckled. "Wish you were here." I tried to read her eyes through the screen. "What's the meeting about again?" She blinked. "Marketing synergy. You know, the boring stuff." "Right. Don't make that face," she teased. "I'm not." "Yes, you are." She laughed again, but it didn't sound real. After the call ended, I whispered to the empty room, "You're getting good at this, Lena." On Friday, she returned. I met her at the door, suitcase in hand, perfume stronger than usual. "How was the trip?" I asked. "Exhausting," she sighed, hugging me. "But I missed you." I held her tighter than she did me. "Did you?" She looked up, smiling. "Of course." We ate dinner, talked about nothing. She told stories about clients and presentations, her voice rehearsed. When she laughed, I noticed she avoided my eyes. Later that night, as she showered, I sat on the edge of the bed scrolling through her social media. Nothing suspicious, every picture perfect. But something in me kept whispering, "Perfect things hide cracks." When she came out, I asked casually, "Who's Ryan Hale?" She froze. "What?" "I saw the name in an email from your office once." "Oh, just a client," she said quickly. "Why?" "No reason. Just curious." She smiled thinly. "You're jealous," I chuckled. "Maybe." "Well, don't be. You're the only man who matters." Her words landed softly, but I felt nothing. I nodded, pretending to believe. She turned off the light, kissed me goodnight. When she fell asleep, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. The hum of the AC sounded louder than usual. I thought about All the nights she'd spent away, all the stories I never questioned. Trust, I told myself, is love's backbone. But what if love itself bends too far? Saturday morning, she rushed out again, saying she had to meet a client for breakfast. I offered to drive her. "No need," she said, kissing my cheek. "I'll be quick." Her car disappeared down the street. I stood at the window long after she was gone. Hours later, I decided to clean her car, an excuse maybe. The back seat was neat, as always. Then I noticed a jacket on the floor, her beige blazer. I lifted it and something slid out of the pocket. A business card, Ryan Hale, CEO, Halo Tech. My stomach tightened. Halo Tech. The name sounded familiar. I opened my laptop, logged into the investor portfolio I rarely touched. There it was, Halo Tech, under a shell company I owned quietly. I whispered, "You've got to be kidding me." I sat back, staring at the card. My mind raced. The irony hit me like a cruel joke. I was funding the company connected to her client. My phone buzzed. Her message. Meeting took longer. "Be home late!" I typed back, "Take your time," and pressed send. Then I placed the business card beside my glass of whiskey and whispered, "Maybe I should have listened to that voice in my head months ago." I picked up the photo frame from the drawer, the one of our wedding day. Her smile looked genuine there, sunlight dancing across her face. I remembered how certain I'd been that love would last if you were loyal enough. Now I wasn't so sure. The night stretched on, quiet except for the ticking clock. I held the Truey card again, turning it in my fingers, the edges digging into my skin. The truth was small, printed in black ink, yet heavy enough to crush me. "Ryan Hale," I said aloud, the name bitter on my tongue. "Let's see who you really are." I opened my laptop and began to dig. "Lena, are you home?" I called out, stepping into silence. The lights were on, dinner half covered on the counter, but the air felt wrong. She appeared from the hallway, still in her blazer. "You're back early." I canceled a meeting. I watched her place her phone face down. "You could have called." I texted, she said. "You texted one word, busy." "That's not a conversation." She sighed, brushing past me to the fridge. "Ethan, please. I've had a long day." "Yeah," I said quietly. "Seems like all your days are long lately." She didn't answer. The fridge door clicked shut. I tried again. "You're leaving again next week?" "Yes, for 2 days. Chicago again." "Right, Chicago." My voice cracked around the word. She frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing. Just noticing a pattern." She stared at me for a second longer, then muttered, "You're imagining things," and walked off toward the bedroom. Her perfume lingered after she left. Same one, too strong, like she was trying to hide something else underneath it. At work the next morning, I couldn't focus. Mark was presenting quarterly forecasts, but my mind drifted. I must have zoned out too long because he snapped his fingers. "Ethan, you with me?" "Yeah, sorry, go on." He closed the laptop. "You've been off all week." "What's going on?" I rubbed my temples. "It's Lena." He leaned forward. "Trouble?" "I don't know yet," I admitted.
She's been distant.
"Her trips keep increasing. I can't tell if it's work or something else." Mark studied me, his voice softer now. "You think she's seeing someone?" "I don't want to believe that," I said. "But something doesn't add up." He crossed his arms. "You're not crazy. Trust your gut. But don't confront her without proof." I nodded. "You sound like a detective." "Comes with being divorced," he said dryly. "You learn to read patterns before they wreck you." That line stayed with me the whole day. Read patterns before they wreck you. By evening, the office emptied. I sat alone, staring at my inbox. A new email from Halotech's finance department blinked open. I scanned the report. Something was wrong. Missing invoices. Redirected funds. Payments signed under authorization I didn't recognize. I whispered to myself, why would Ryan's company reroute investor payments? I opened the database, pulled up archived transaction logs. Then I froze. In the approved by column, the name appeared, Lena Cole. I leaned back slowly, my breath catching. "No," I muttered, shaking my head. That can't be her. But it was there again, and her digital signature. My chest felt tight. I whispered, "What were you doing, Lena?" Mark's earlier advice echoed, "Don't confront her without proof." I called Mr. Donovan, my legal advisor. "I need access to the full investment records for Halo Tech," I said. "Now?" he asked, surprised. "Yes, quietly. Use the backup credentials under my authority." "Understood," he said. "May I ask why?" "Just a hunch," I replied, my voice low. "And I hope I'm wrong." 30 minutes later, the documents arrived, encrypted. I opened them, scrolling through line after line of authorization logs. Lena's name kept flashing up beside Ryan Hale's. Transfers, meetings, signatures. The office felt colder with every scroll. I whispered, "You were never traveling for work, were you?" I stood pacing. My reflection in the glass wall looked like someone else. Eyes dark, jaw tense. Mark called right then. "Still at the office?" "Yeah. Find something?" "I think I found too much." He hesitated. "Talk to me," I swallowed hard. "You remember Halo Tech, that startup I backed quietly? The one with the young CEO?" "Ryan Hale." I could barely say the name. "Turns out Lena's been authorizing payments tied to them." He whistled low. "Damn, that's not good." "It's more than not good," I said. "It means she's connected to him, financially, maybe personally." Mark was silent for a moment. "You sure it's her?" "Her name, her email, her signature. I can't fake that many coincidences." He exhaled. "Then you know what this means." "Yeah," I said. "It means I've been financing my own humiliation." That silence on the line burned worse than words. Finally, Mark said, "You need to stay calm. Gather everything. Don't tell her you know." "I won't," I said quietly. "Not yet." After the call, I stared at the computer screen until my vision blurred. I thought of her laugh, her voice saying, "I love you." I muttered, "You said you hated numbers, Lena. So why are they all next to your name?" I shut down the system and sat in the dark. My phone buzzed, a message from her. "Just finished dinner with clients." "Miss you?" I stared at it. My fingers hovered over the keyboard before typing, "Don't work too hard." When I hit send, my hand trembled. I whispered to myself, "When did you stop looking at me like I was enough?" Driving home, I replayed every smile, every touch, every business trip. Each one now felt like a shadow cast over something I never saw coming. At home, her suitcase stood by the door, half packed. I opened it and saw her blouse neatly folded beside a conference badge labeled Halo Tech Partnership Summit. I almost laughed. "You didn't even hide it well." I closed the suitcase gently and sat on the floor beside it, staring at the badge. The room smelled faintly of her perfume again. That same sweet scent that used to calm me, now sickening. I whispered into the quiet, "You were supposed to be my safe place." My phone buzzed once more, and another message, "Love you. Can't wait to be home." I typed back 2 words, "Me too." Then I turned off the phone and whispered, "Lies sound different once you know the truth hiding under them." "Where are you headed again?" I asked casually, leaning on the doorway. Lena zipped her suitcase without looking up. "Same place as before, Chicago." I forced a smile. "Another tech summit?" She nodded, still not meeting my eyes. 3 days tops. I crossed my arms. "Want me to drop you at the airport?" "No need," she said too quickly. "I'll grab a cab." "You should rest." "I will," I murmured. "Safe flight." She kissed my cheek, light, mechanical. "Love you." I didn't answer until she reached the door. "Do you?" She froze for a split second, then smiled without warmth. "Of course." When the door clicked shut, I exhaled, feeling the silence tighten around me. My keys jingled in my palm as I whispered, "Let's see where this summit really is." An hour later, I sat in my car a few blocks away from the airport hotel. Her cab stopped under the awning. I watched her step out, phone in hand, laughing. The man who met her wore a navy coat and that confident, careless smile I'd seen in company photos. Ryan Hale. My chest tightened. My fingers gripped the steering wheel so hard it squeaked. I whispered, "So it's true." She hugged him, her hands lingering too long. He touched her hair, whispering something that made her laugh again. I felt the sound like glass cutting through my chest. They disappeared through the hotel doors together. I didn't move. Minutes stretched into hours. Rain began to tap the windshield, small, mocking rhythms. My phone buzzed. A message from her landed safely. Going to rest before the meeting. I almost laughed. The audacity burned. I whispered to myself, "Rest, huh?" and leaned back, staring at the reflection of the hotel lights in the glass. My breath fogged the window. I wiped it with my sleeve, but the image of them walking in together wouldn't fade. Another message popped up from Mark. "You okay?" I typed, "No, I just saw it." He replied, "You sure?" I saw her with him. Same hotel. Same lies. The typing bubbles appeared, then disappeared. No reply came. I didn't blame him. What could anyone say? Hours later, I finally drove home. My hands trembled the entire way. I turned the radio on just to drown out my thoughts, but every song sounded like a bad joke about love and trust. When I parked, I stayed in the car for a long time. The rain had stopped, but my chest still felt stormy. Inside, the house looked colder. Every photo, every memory felt like a lie trapped in a frame. I poured a drink. My hands shook so badly the liquid splashed. I muttered, "To marriage," and took a bitter gulp. I picked up our wedding picture from the shelf. Her eyes were bright in it, smiling like she meant forever. I whispered, "You chose him over us." The sound of my own voice broke something inside me. I sank into the couch, clutching the frame, unable to stop shaking. My phone rang. Her name flashed. I stared at it for a full minute before answering. "Hey," I said, voice steady somehow. "Hey, babe," she said. "You sound tired." "I am." "The meeting went long," she said. "I'll call you tomorrow, okay?" I swallowed hard. "Sure, enjoy your rest." "Miss you," she said. "I bet you do," I whispered under my breath. "What?" "Nothing. Good night." "Good night." I ended the call before she could say anything else. Silence again. Only the hum of the fridge and the ticking clock. I looked at the glass in my hand, half empty, and whispered, "You're drinking lies now." I turned off all the lights and sat in the dark. My thoughts wouldn't stop circling. Every business trip, every excuse, every time she smiled and said she loved me. It all blurred into noise. I whispered, "When did she stop loving me?" Was it sudden or slow? Sleep didn't come. I lay on the couch, eyes wide open, the image of her hand in his playing over and over in my head. Around dawn, I stood up and walked to the balcony. The city was waking up, cars moving, lights blinking on. I felt nothing, just emptiness. Mark called again. "Ethan?" "Yeah. You home?" "Yeah." "Talk to me, man. There's nothing to say." He sighed. "You gonna confront her?" "No," I said quietly. "Not yet. Why?" "Because I want to see how long she keeps lying." He paused. "That's gonna eat you alive." "Maybe," I said. "But it's the only way I'll know who she really is." We stayed silent for a while before he said softly, "You didn't deserve this." "Deserves got nothing to do with it," I muttered. "People just do what they want and the rest of us deal with the fallout." He exhaled. "Try to get some rest." "Sure," I lied, and ended the call. I went back inside, the apartment still dark. Her clothes hung neatly in the closet, her perfume still faint in the air. I sat on the bed and looked at her side, untouched, cold. I whispered, "You lied so easily." Was I that blind? I closed my eyes and tried to remember the first time she said she loved me. It used to sound like music. Now, even in memory, it sounded hollow. Every time she smiled, replayed in my mind. Dinners, laughter, whispered promises. Each scene shattered the moment Ryan's face appeared beside hers. I grabbed my pillow, buried my face in it, and screamed. Not from anger, but from disbelief. When the echo faded, I whispered to myself, "This is what breaking feels like." I stayed like that for hours, the morning sun spilling through the curtains. By the time I finally stood, I'd already decided no confrontation, no shouting, no drama, just silence. Silence would be louder than anything I could ever say. Mark leaned against the office wall. "You haven't said a word since you walked in." "I'm thinking," I said, flipping through the financial reports. "That's what you do when your wife's lies and your money end up in the same place." He folded his arms. "You sure you want to dig deeper? It's going to hurt." "It already does," I replied. Now I just need proof strong enough to turn that pain into leverage. He nodded slowly. Then let's bring Donovan in. Mr. Donovan joined us 20 minutes later, briefcase in hand. Ethan, your message sounded urgent. It is, I said. I need full access to the Halo Tech shares I control through the private group. Quietly. Donovan adjusted his glasses. You already own 40% indirectly. That gives you voting rights and access to internal data. Good, I said. I want everything. Board documents, transaction trails, correspondence logs. Mark whistled. You're not just angry. You're going for the throat. I looked at him. She tore something out of me, Mark. Logic's all I've got left. Donovan opened his laptop. Any specific reason? I kept my voice level. Ryan Hale, my wife's been connected to him. I want to know how deep that connection goes, financially and personally. He typed quickly, then looked up. If you pull records through your proxy firm, nobody will trace it back to you. Perfect, I said. Let her and Ryan keep smiling. I'll pull the ground out beneath their feet. Mark frowned. You're planning revenge? I met his eyes. No, I'm planning justice. There's a difference, he didn't argue. Donovan printed a folder. Here, this gives you access to internal audit portals. Everything you need. Thank you, I said. When he left, Mark exhaled. You're calm. Too calm. Calm is how people mistake you for harmless, I said, pocketing the folder. That's when you win. Later that night, I sat in my office at home reviewing documents. Every number felt like a confession. My phone rang. Unknown number, hello? Ethan? A woman's voice. Familiar somehow. Who's this? Claire Morgan. College, remember? I blinked, stunned. Claire? It's been years. I saw your name pop up in an old alumni newsletter, she said, her voice warm but cautious. You sounded tired. I don't know why I called. Just a feeling, I laughed softly. That's an oddly good timing. You okay? She asked. I hesitated. Define okay, she sighed. That bad, huh? Worse, I said quietly. Marriage turned into an equation I can't balance. You always measured life in numbers, she teased gently. Still doing that? Only because numbers don't lie, I said. Maybe, she said. But people still need truth more than proof. Her words hit deeper than I expected. Truth hurts more. Sometimes, she said softly. But it also sets you free. Don't lose yourself to hate, Ethan. You've always been better than that. I didn't know what to say. For a moment, I just listened to her breathe. It was the first human sound that didn't feel empty in days. Thanks, I finally said. I needed that. Call me if you ever need to talk again, she said, even if it's just to hear another voice. After the call ended, I sat staring at the ceiling. For a moment, I almost felt steady again. Then the phone rang again. Ethan Cole speaking. Don't hang up, a woman's voice rushed out. My name's Nina, I frowned. Do I know you? I'm Ryan Hale's ex, I froze. What do you want? To warn you, she said. Ryan's not who you think he is, and neither is your wife. My jaw clenched. I already know what they're doing. No, you don't, she said. Lena's been using Ryan. She's feeding him confidential data from your company, contracts, client lists. He thinks he's in control, but she's playing him for profit. My pulse pounded in my ears. You're saying she's betraying both of us? Yes, she said. I broke up with Ryan because he bragged about it. He said she's brilliant, dangerous. I thought you deserved to know. Why tell me now? Because watching him fall will be worth it, she said bitterly. And you deserve a chance to strike first. I took a breath. Do you have proof? I'll send you screenshots, emails, recordings. Do that, I said. Ethan, she added, her tone softening. Don't confront them yet. Let them hang themselves, I whispered. They already have. When the call ended, I sat motionless. Anger and cold logic warred inside me. Mark's voice echoed in my head. You're going for the throat. I opened the folder again, stared at the Halo Tech documents and whispered, You two deserve each other's destruction. My phone buzzed. Nina's email. Attachments loaded. Lena's name, her digital signature, private memos she'd forwarded to Ryan. It was all there. Proof. I closed the laptop slowly, the reflection of my own face staring back. She lied to both of us, I said aloud. So let's see how she survives when the lies start eating themselves. I turned off the lights, feeling something shift inside me. Not rage, not sorrow, but something sharper. For the first time, my heart was quiet. My mind ruthless. That night, I stopped being the man she married, and I became the man she created. Mark dropped a folder on my desk. Everything's in motion. You sure you want to do this? I looked up. Want? No. Need? Absolutely, he sat down. You realize once this starts, there's no taking it back. I'm not taking anything back, I said. I'm just collecting what's already mine. Karma. Mark gave a dry laugh. You sound like a man writing his own confession. Maybe I am, I replied. But this one ends with justice. He opened the laptop between us, the Halotech report glowing on the screen. You pull these audits, their investors panic. You leak the discrepancies, their stock dies. You hit the right strings, Ryan and Lena both go under. That's the plan, I said. He stared at me. You're enjoying this, aren't you? I leaned back. It's not joy I feel, Mark, it's clarity. It's knowing the truth has teeth, he sighed. You always did play the long game. Now I'm just changing who the opponent is. By evening, I was alone in my office. The city hummed outside. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Every click felt like a moral decision. I pulled up encrypted files, copied audit discrepancies, and sent them anonymously to 2 journalists I trusted. Then I opened my investment dashboard and withdrew 2 major funding commitments from Halotech's backers. One button press and the lifeline that kept Ryan's company breathing vanished. I whispered to myself, this isn't revenge. This is balance, my phone buzzed. Mark again. You pulled the trigger? Yes, he exhaled. You just made history, man. Or headlines, I said. That night, I didn't sleep. My mind raced between thrill and guilt. The image of Lena laughing in that hotel lobby replayed, each echo justifying another action. By morning, chaos had begun. I received an anonymous alert from one of my insider sources. Halotech's internal chat logs were buzzing with panic. Payments frozen. Investors pulling out. Auditors demanding explanations. I poured coffee, watching the storm unfold from my phone screen. Mark called again. You seeing this? I'm watching it happen in real time. Ryan's probably losing his mind right now. Good, I said softly. Maybe he'll finally understand what losing everything feels like. There was a pause. You still sound calm. I've been calm since the night I saw them together, I said. That's when everything inside me died. What's left doesn't panic anymore. Later that afternoon, my phone buzzed again, this time from Sophie, Lena's best friend. Hey, Ethan. Sorry to bother you, she said. I think I accidentally texted you instead of Lena. What text? I asked, frowning. She laughed nervously. I just sent it. Check your phone. I opened the message. It wasn't for me. He suspects nothing. The money is safe. My stomach tightened. Sophie, where did you get this message? It was supposed to go to Ryan, I think, she said. Lena mentioned some confidential stuff, but Wait, Ethan, are you okay? I forced my voice steady. Yeah, just a wrong text. Thanks for letting me know. After the call, I stared at the screen. He suspects nothing. I whispered, Oh, Lena, you have no idea what I suspect. I forwarded the message to Mark. Within seconds, he called. Holy hell. She just confessed to hiding money? Seems like it, I said. Man, she's digging her own grave. She's been digging it for months, I replied. I'm just handing her the shovel. That evening, Halotech's official statement hit the news. Internal discrepancies under investigation. The headline alone was enough to make investors flee. Ryan Hale's face appeared on financial networks, smiling weakly, pretending control. I turned up the volume. A reporter asked, Mr. Hale, are you aware of fraudulent activity linked to investor accounts? He cleared his throat. We are looking into it. My phone buzzed, another message, this time from Lena. Rough day. Something's happening at Ryan's company. Don't believe everything you hear, I typed back. You sound worried, she replied instantly. I'm fine, just stressful. Some investors are pulling out. Maybe they know something you don't, I wrote. Her typing bubble appeared, then vanished. No reply, I whispered. Guess that hit home. By midnight, I got confirmation. 2 major media outlets had published my leaks. Anonymous sources cited internal evidence of misused funds and falsified invoices. Ryan's empire was collapsing piece by piece. Mark called again. They're done. You did it, I didn't smile. I just removed the mask. Lena's name's coming up too. he added quietly. She's listed as a consultant in some of those payments. HR's calling her for questioning tomorrow. I stared at the window, city lights reflecting in the glass. She built her life on lies, so it makes sense that it's crumbling on her watch. He was silent for a long time before saying, "You still love her?" I exhaled. "That's the cruel part, Mark. I think some small dying part of me does. But that doesn't mean I'll save her." After the call, I poured another drink. The whiskey burned my throat, but not as much as the memories. I whispered to the empty room, "You traded truth for comfort, Lena. Now neither will want you." The next morning, my inbox flooded with alerts. Halotech's valuation dropped by 40% overnight. Board members resigned. Ryan Hale's smug grin was replaced by panic in every press photo. I scrolled through the comments online, investors demanding answers, employees fearing layoffs. The chaos spread fast, beautiful in its precision. For the first time, I felt something close to peace. Not joy, not triumph, just a stillness that came after a storm. I whispered, "It's not joy I feel, but justice." My phone buzzed one last time. Lena again. "Ethan, can we talk tonight? It's important," I typed back. "Sure, let's talk." As I set the phone down, I smiled faintly. "Yes, Lena. Let's talk about what happens when truth finally comes home." The sound of keys at the door made my pulse quicken. She was home earlier than expected. I muted the TV and waited. "Ethan?" Her voice was softer than usual, almost shaky. "In here," I said, my tone calm, too calm. She walked in, hair slightly messy, smile forced. Surprise. "Got back early. Flight was canceled tomorrow, so I took the earlier one." I nodded slowly. "That's considerate," she laughed weakly. "You sound suspicious. Should I be?" She froze for half a second, then smiled again. "You're joking, right?" "Maybe," I said. "Maybe not." She put her bag down, avoiding my eyes. Her hands trembled slightly. I noticed. "You okay?" I asked. "Just tired." "From work?" "Yeah. Meetings, clients, travel, you know how it is." "I do," I said quietly. "I also know you haven't had a real meeting in weeks." Her eyes snapped up. "What are you talking about?" I leaned forward, voice low. "You want to keep pretending, or should I show you something?" She took a step back. "Ethan, you're scaring me." I reached for the drawer beside me and pulled out a small, worn card. I held it between my fingers. "Remember this?" Her breath hitched. "Where did you—" "It was in your jacket." "Months ago," she swallowed hard. "It's just a card. Ryan Hale, CEO, Halotech," I read aloud. "Funny thing, Lena, I own 40% of that company. Through another name, of course. You've been lying to the one man who signs your lover's paycheck." Her face drained of color. "You're lying." "I wish I were," I said. "But I don't lie, remember? That was your specialty." Tears welled up, but she blinked them away. "It wasn't what you think, then what was it?" She opened her mouth, closed it, tried again. "I didn't love him." I almost laughed. "That's the line you're going with?" She stepped closer. "It wasn't about love, Ethan. It was about feeling powerful. I felt invisible in this house. You were always working, always distant. So you slept with power?" Her voice cracked. "You stopped seeing me. And you thought betrayal would make me look again?" She shook her head. "You don't understand." "No, I understand perfectly," I cut in. "You wanted control. You wanted to prove you could take what was mine and make it yours." She covered her face with her hands. "I made a mistake." "Mistake?" I repeated, my voice sharp. "A mistake is forgetting an anniversary, not creating a double life." She dropped her hands and whispered, "I never meant to hurt you." "You hurt me every time you lied," I said. "Every time you smiled and said you loved me while texting him." Tears rolled down her cheeks now. "Please, Ethan, I'm sorry." "Sorry doesn't erase the image of you walking into that hotel," I said quietly. "I watched you, Lena. I saw you with him." Her knees buckled slightly and she sat down on the couch. "You followed me?" "I followed the truth," I said. "And it led straight to your lies." She covered her mouth, sobbing. "What do you want me to say?" "The truth," I said. "For once." She looked up, mascara streaked, voice breaking. "It wasn't love. It was power. For once, I wanted to feel like I wasn't the shadow in your success. He made me feel important." I stared at her, empty inside. "And now?" She shook her head. "Now I feel nothing. I stood, my voice steady. Good, that makes 2 of us. She blinked through tears. You hate me. No, I said. Hate takes energy. I'm just done. She reached for me. Please don't say that. We can fix this. There's nothing left to fix, I said. You broke something that doesn't glue back. I'll leave him, she whispered. I'll walk away from everything. You don't have to, I said. It's already gone, she frowned. What do you mean? I looked at her, calm, deliberate. Halotech. The company. It's finished. Her eyes widened. What? Collapsed? Fraud reports. Investors pulled out. Ryan's name is all over the news. She shook her head. No, that can't be. I handed her my phone, showing her the headline. Halotech faces internal corruption allegations. CEO under fire. Her lips parted. You destroyed him? I let out a slow breath. No, Lena, you did. Her voice trembled. You leaked it? I didn't have to. The truth has a way of leaking on its own. She stood abruptly, pacing. You ruined everything. I saved myself, I said. For once. She stopped, turned to me, desperate. Ethan, please. I can fix this. I can fix us. You can't fix ashes, I said quietly. You can only sweep them away. She fell to her knees, crying. I didn't think it would go this far. That's your problem, I said. You never think past what you want. Her voice came out in a whisper. I loved the way he made me feel. That's all it was. And how do you feel now? I asked. Empty, she said. I nodded. Good. Maybe now you know what you left me with. She looked up at me, broken. What happens now? Nothing, I said. You'll move out. I'll sign the papers. And we'll both live with the ruins we built, she whispered. You really ended him? I looked at her one last time. He ended himself when he thought he could steal from me. She wiped her face, voice barely a breath. And me? You ended us when you thought you could lie to me and walk away clean. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The house was silent except for her quiet sobbing. I picked up my jacket. You wanted power, Lena, you got it. Just not the kind you expected. She looked up through tears. Do you feel better now? I paused at the door. No, just finished. And for the first time, I meant it. Mark called early. You've seen the news? Yeah, I said, staring at the headline on my phone. Halotech declares bankruptcy. CEO under federal investigation. Mark whistled through the line. Ryan's done. His brother David went public with the evidence. Leaked everything. I read it, I said quietly. It's all out there now. False reports, shell accounts, insider deals. He hesitated. Lena's name is mentioned too. I know, I said. It was bound to happen. You okay? I'm fine, I lied. I'm just watching the storm I started, he sighed. You sound empty. Silence does that to you, I said. It gives you clarity and nothingness at the same time. After we hung up, I sat at my desk staring at the divorce papers. My name, her name, the signatures waiting. I ran my hand over the ink line where mine would go. The doorbell rang. I didn't have to guess who it was. When I opened the door, Lena stood there, pale, sunglasses hiding swollen eyes. Can I come in? She asked. I stepped aside silently. She walked in looking smaller than I remembered. You've seen the news. I have. They're destroying me, Ethan. No, I said. You did that yourself, she flinched. I didn't know Ryan was doing all that. I swear I didn't. You didn't care enough to find out, I said. You cared about the thrill, the danger, the validation. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I made a mistake. No, I said, my voice steady. You made a choice. She sank into a chair. You're filing, aren't you? I looked at the papers on the table. Yes, her lip trembled. After everything, you won't even talk to me? I am talking, I said. But this time I'm not explaining. I'm not defending. I'm not forgiving, please. Ethan, I've lost everything, my job, my friends. My reputation. You lost yourself long before that. She wiped her face. Whispering, I never stopped loving you. I almost laughed. You don't get to say that word anymore. She looked up, desperate. Then what do you want me to say? Nothing, I said. You've already said enough, she stood, trembling. You think this makes you better than me? No, I said. It makes me free. Her voice cracked. You'll regret letting me go. I already regret meeting the version of you that replaced the woman I married. She stared at me for a long moment. You really don't feel anything? I feel closure, I said quietly. And you taught me what love isn't. Her expression broke completely then. She turned away, shoulders shaking. When she finally left, the door closed with a dull sound that felt like punctuation, a period at the end of something I once called forever. Later that evening, Claire called. I saw the news, she said softly. You holding up? I'm still here, I said. That's not the same as being okay. I don't think okay exists anymore, I said. There's just quiet, she paused. Sometimes quiet is where healing starts. I didn't answer. Ethan, she continued, you did what you had to. Don't let guilt rewrite that. I don't feel guilt, I said, just the echo of everything I lost. Echoes fade, she whispered. You will too. We stayed on the call in silence for a while before I said, you always know what to say. It's easier when you care, she said softly. After we hung up, I sat by the window, watching the rain smear the city lights into silver streaks. The world looked blurred, like it hadn't made up its mind whether to wash itself clean or drown in its own mess. Ava came by the next morning. You look different, she said, studying me. How so? Lighter, like you finally let go of something heavy. I guess silence weighs less than lies, I said. She smiled faintly. You did the right thing. Maybe, but right things don't always feel good. They will, she said. You just need time. She hugged me before leaving, whispering, I'm proud of you. Her words lingered after she was gone. Proud. I wasn't sure I deserved that. By afternoon, the papers were signed. The pen felt heavier than it should have. I looked at my signature beside hers and thought of how easy it was to end something that once defined you. That evening, I drove to the coast. The ocean stretched wide, endless, indifferent. I stepped onto the sand, the wind cutting cold against my face. In my hand, I held the torn wedding photo. Her half still smiled, frozen in a moment that no longer existed. I whispered, You got your freedom, Lena, and I finally got mine. The waves crashed louder, as if answering back. I looked at the photo one last time. Revenge didn't heal me, I said softly. It only silenced the storm. Then I threw it into the water. It floated for a second before the tide pulled it under. The horizon glowed faintly, silver and calm. For the first time in months, I felt something that wasn't pain. I whispered, This time I'll build something honest. And I turned away from the sea, leaving the waves to keep my secrets. Claire pushed a cup of coffee across the table. You've been quiet all morning. I'm thinking, I said. About her again? I smiled faintly. Not really. About everything that came after, she tilted her head. You mean the silence? Yeah, I said. It used to feel empty. Now it feels earned, she nodded. That's growth. I glanced at the window of the new office we'd rented downtown. Small place, no luxury, but it felt honest. I still can't believe we're actually doing this. Our own company, she said, grinning. No scandals, no secrets. Just work that matters, I chuckled. Integrity feels underrated until you've lost it once. She looked at me for a long moment. You're different, Ethan. I had to be, I said. The old version of me died somewhere between betrayal and forgiveness. Claire leaned back. And this version? This version keeps receipts, I said, half smiling. She laughed softly. You sound like someone who's finally fine. I'm getting there, I said. Some days I still wake up expecting the chaos. Then I realize it's gone and I don't miss it. Claire sipped her coffee. You heard about Lena? I hesitated. Yeah, she left the city. Where to? Don't know. Don't care, I said quietly. Her name stopped appearing in headlines weeks ago. Ryan's company is just dust now. She disappeared with it. Claire studied my face. No part of you wants closure with her? I shook my head. Closure isn't something she can give me. I had to build it myself, she nodded slowly. You always said you didn't believe in karma. I didn't, I said. Now I do. But it's not some cosmic punishment. It's just life evening the score. She smiled. You let life handle it for you. Exactly, I said. In the end, I didn't destroy her. I let life do it for me. Claire set her cup down. And it worked. It did, I said softly. But it came with a price. I had to lose everything I thought defined me to find what really matters. She leaned forward. And what matters now? Peace, I said. And honesty. Honesty? Yeah, I said, looking around the small office. No lies, no masks. Just work, truth, and people who don't pretend, she smiled. That sounds like hope. It is, I said. Small, fragile hope, but it's mine. We spent the next hour planning, drafting names for the new firm, laughing over bad ideas. For the first time in years, laughter didn't feel forced. When she left, the silence that followed didn't hurt. It felt familiar, like the world giving me space instead of taking it away. I sat at my desk, flipping through a few old photos I hadn't deleted yet. One of them was from years ago, Lena and me on a beach before the lies, before the masks. I stared at it for a long moment before setting it face down. I whispered, "We were beautiful once." That was real enough. Then I opened the drawer and placed the photo inside, closing it gently. Later that evening, Ava called. "Hey, stranger," she said. I saw the new business name. "You finally did it." "Yeah," I said. "Claire and I launched it this week." "I'm proud of you," she said. "You sound lighter." "I feel lighter," I said. "Like I finally stopped carrying someone else's story." Ava paused. "You think you'll ever see her again?" "I doubt it," I said. "But if I did, I'd probably thank her." "For what?" "For teaching me who I never want to become." She laughed softly. "That's one way to heal." "It's the only way that worked," I said. We said our goodbyes, and when the call ended, I stepped out to the balcony. The evening sky was painted gold, fading into silver at the edges. The air felt clean, quiet. I took a deep breath and whispered, "It's strange. Ava, you spend years trying to fix someone else. Then one day you realize you were the one who needed fixing." The sea breeze hit my face, cool and forgiving. I pulled a folded paper from my pocket, the last torn half of our wedding photo. I looked at it for a moment, then at the horizon. "I lost the woman I loved," I said softly. "But I found the man I was meant to become." The wind tugged the photo from my hand, carrying it into the distance. I watched it disappear into the light until it was gone, and for the first time, I didn't look back. The old Halotech building looked smaller than I remembered. The glass panels were cracked, the logo half faded. I stood at the gate, hands in my pockets, breathing in the dust of what used to be their empire. Mark's voice echoed in my head. "You sure you want to go back there?" "I just need to see it," I'd told him. Now I understood why. Closure isn't something you sign. It's something you stand in front of and finally stop feeling. Inside, the lobby was silent. The air smelled like old paper and regret. I walked past empty desks, remembering how much power once buzzed here. For a moment, I pictured Lena's laughter, Ryan's arrogance, my own blindness. Then I let it all fade. At the top floor, sunlight poured through broken blinds. I looked out at the skyline, the same city, but a different man staring back at it. I whispered, "It's over." The word didn't hurt anymore. I turned toward the door, a faint smile forming, not out of victory, but peace. Sometimes, revenge isn't loud. It's the quiet that follows when you finally stop waiting for an apology.